case, if you have to ask, man, chances are you'll never know about the UFO thing. Could be right there staring you right in the face. You never know once you're hooked to the pulse of the UFO flow. This is Rocken Larry Locken here with the Larry Locken 1 channel at PLEIADIAMANIA/YouTube. Man, PLEIADIAMANIA sweeping the nation. UFO fever has caught on like wildfire. I've got an old high school friend. He's not just a high school friend of mine. He's a lifelong friend of mine. He was a year ahead of me in high school. He's MHS, class of 9-3. I'm 9-4. And, yo, D-Man, what is going on? What are you up to? You've been flying back to Philly. What the hell have you been doing lately?
I've been back and forth, Larry. I've been busy. Go ahead. Yeah, I called you earlier today. I'm blown away by the worldwide phenomenon of these so-called drones.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah. Go ahead. They're losing the ability to put the veil of ignorance on us. They're reaching for everything, to explain why it's not what it is. But these things are moving supersonic speeds. What is supersonic? Yeah, they cut on a dime, dude. Go 1,000 miles an hour. Stop, cut on a dime. Oh, dude, do the pretzel, do the Tootsie Roll, everything, man.
Yeah, what really blew me away is I'm scrolling down in YouTube today, and one of your fellow podcasters, the Angry Astronaut, had some information that blew me away. Like these sightings are happening above our towns. But in Oregon, they're being sighted above the North Bend Airport. It's a worldwide phenomenon, and you and I both know that they drop into the ocean and they come out of the ocean. They're all over above us right now. And it's not lost on me that we've been able to see the aurora borealis clear down to Central America. Like why has that magnetic field been fluctuating so much? And you can see the northern lights, and now we have a mass showing of indigenous and non-indigenous life forms on our planet, and they are everything. They're not hiding at all.
They're not at all. Yeah, all the dimensions are coming back together, dude. Everything's coming into our view, into our purview, into our awareness, perception. And, dude, I know I've been watching these for 14 years, and I'm listening to people I was doing it before it was fashionable, and we all were. And, man, it's crazy to hear that report with that air traffic controller talking to that guy, and I'm like a mile away from there. And the med tech's like, it looks like it's doing a pretzel. It's splitting apart and coming back together. And I'm like, man, I've been watching it for years. I've contacted these things. I mean, this shit is shit's getting real. You know what I mean?
It's because we live on the edge of the continental shelf of the ocean. They exist in our ocean. They've been above us and around us since we were kids. It's a symbiosis. It is amazing that they are showing themselves so openly. They've been doing everything they can to explain it away. Just the other day, I was meditating on the stars, and what they call a fireball flew over my head. The light was as green as an old green bottle. It lit up the entire. It was like 2 a.m. It lit the entire night sky with an eerie green as it flew over my head the size of the moon. They explain that as a fireball. They happen all the time. And they're seeing the northern lights clear down into South America. We are experiencing it's like they try to explain away.
Hold up, man, for a second. Are you sure you weren't seeing a Chinese lantern, a Chinese weather balloon, 2 kids playing with a metal can with a slingshot, throwing it up in the air? Let's see what else. Is it swamp gas? Was it just your imagination running away with you again? I mean, everything but any ridiculous thing they can come up with, man, right? This drone story really killed me, and it forced me to have to channel somebody that I don't like because I'm related to him, and he's a son of a bitch. His name starts with an A, and it rhymes with car, Ashtar. But I got a hold of Uncle Ash, and that's what's going on. I mean, those drones are UFOs, most of them.
You can't deny a fire when your foot's on fire. You know what I'm saying? Like our feet are on fire. Point. The mainstream populace can't deny when there is a mass showing of presence. And the thing is, I've been looking in our skies recently, and I've been like, what are these what are these red blinking, white, blue blinking lights that are like in our stars? The majority of people do not have a sense to know constellation, let alone stars. So nobody looks up. People miss comets in the sky. So like.
Most of them are ships. Most of them are aircraft. Most of them are spacecraft, man. A lot of these stars, they can come in and they can actually take on a Google map. They can show up as one of the star systems, and a lot of times they're from that star system. Like I've been channeling these people from Procyon because they just got back into the game. They were out of it for a long time because of some shit that happened with their gene pool being tainted, with bad star seeds being planted in there. But Procyon was over by where Sirius was because it's sort of by there. It's halfway between us and Sirius, and they were blinking at me, and I was supposed to channel them that night anyway. I've got it on video with me talking to the ship. They're just it's really not, it's the biggest deal ever, but it's not a big deal at all. It's like finding out it's like finding out that there's a continent full of other people back in the settling days. You know what I mean? That's all that it is. We're a galactic society, and humans are everywhere throughout the cosmos, and I don't understand for the life of me why that's such a hard concept for people to come to the grip of, even people that believe it could be true. Why is that such a hard concept? And the government, the government does lie about it because there ain't shit they can do about it, really, man, and they're just kind of...
The real government knows about it. The government here...
They have an idea, but even like Trump or Biden or anybody that's a president, they kind of, I don't think they want to know. And I see that in Trump too, and it isn't just him. Every president I've seen, they really don't fucking want to know.
There are men that lust for control and domination. They're not, that's all they care about is domination and control. They're not paying attention to like the metaphysical or the reality of reality. You know what I mean?
No, hell no. No, I know it's just a game. It's not as bad as you think it is, but it's a hell of a lot worse than you can imagine. It's really intricate. It's not just as simple as, the government's corrupt, because really we are the government. We're one people, but these people you see that are in president and senate positions, they're just, that's their angle to make money and get what power they can. And the presidents really don't want to know a whole hell of a lot about it, man. I mean, they just would rather not. Even Trump, and he wants to know everything. He just doesn't. He's like, I don't think he wants to know.
I think we're dealing with the return of the Anunnakis. What I think the gardeners are coming to check out what's going on.
I think the original Anunnaki, not the manipulators that took it over. See, there's the Anunnaki that had Pleiadians and good souls in it at first, but then they let the reptilians come in there, and the reptilians started fucking with the gene pool a little bit. And hopefully maybe it is the Anunnaki, and it's not a planet that rotates on a ship or they say on an elliptical orbit every 3,600 years. It's a biodome. Eric Von Donigan set Sitchin straight on that. It's a biodome. It's a biodome. Spacecraft is what Nibiru was. It wasn't something that has to stay on an elliptical orbit. That's where kind of the one thing Sitchin did a great job interpreting those tablets. Nobody could. You needed somebody straight and square and black and white thinking to do that shit. But there was like 20%, because of his close mind, there was 20% he missed, and that was kind of part of it. But yeah, man, it's crazy stuff that people are finally, it's coming into fruition, and they called for this, and I will be still in doubt, even though I've had contact with these things. I'll still be in doubt until it's signed on the bottom line to where they're here. You know what I mean? I'll always have that skeptical warrior in me.
Well, they are letting us be aware of them. It's not us now becoming aware of them. They have decided that we should be aware of them. Okay, so because as you know, they're always here.
Yeah.
So the fact that they perceive our consciousness, they are able to, just like if you observe, it's like if you observe an atom, it has mass, and if you look away, it becomes a wave, it has no mass. They perceive our conscious thoughts, so they are able to remove themselves from our perception. Like the fact that we are seeing them in mass, is because they have decided to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's the same thing with their lights. You're right. It goes back to, I've heard, well, why do they have lights that they're so technically advanced? It's because they're letting people know that they're there. They don't need them like headlights on a goddamn car or an airplane. They really don't need that shit. But there's something I do tell people, except for a few civilizations, there is something about our clouds. When they come down into our sky, they can cloak no problem. But when they get into those clouds, dude, they have to kind of hide like they're a dark spot in there. They can't completely cloak in our clouds. It's weird. I don't know what the hell the deal with that is.
I feel like the coloration is more to do with like why a trout has pink on its gills during mating season. I think it's more to do with something like that. And then I feel like it's like the bird of paradise, how flashy they are. It's one of those sort of things. It's particular to whatever species they might be. It has a particular meaning to them. You know what I mean? Like we might perceive it as like light, but it's not like how like you have on an airplane where you have air light. The lights for aircraft. It's not that. It doesn't function the same way as our lights on aircraft do. It has a different function for that entity.
Yeah, I know where you're going. Yeah, I agree with what you said. I know what you're talking about, right? It's something that's supposed to resonate with whatever is supposed to meant to see that. Our generation has a little bit of trouble articulating shit good, but I know what you're saying, and I totally agree that that's what it is. There's a meaning like that behind it,
Yeah. So I actually got within 100 feet of one of them within the last year and a half. It was probably like 3:30 in the morning. I was traveling home from a gig. I was traveling a dark side road here between Charleston and Empire, named after the area that we're from. And as I'm coming down this is a very dark road. As I'm coming down the road, I see 500 feet down the road. It's a straight road. It parallels a road called Cape Argo, and I seen in the distance at a great height, something amongst these fir trees, a craft that was saucer-like.
Well, limited. Okay, so
underneath it was an opaque yellow plasma, and it was completely silent.
Either one of three places.
And it was tucked into the trees like it was hiding there, like 100 feet in the air. And you think yourself, why did you take a picture, David?
That'll be only three places on
most likely, it didn't want me to take a picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they know. You'll know. You can feel it when they're cool with it and they're not. I mean, I like filming them too, but if they don't want you to, they'll cloak. I've kind of already known ahead of time, like you did. Like you just didn't do it because if they would have wanted you to, or you would have needed to, you would have.
We don't have that kind of conscious control that we think we have. We're a little bit the aphid to the ant than we are the ant to the aphid. You know what I mean?
Do I? Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist when you talk to these people that's the case. I mean, and you see what they can do. What's amazing to me is it being that technically advanced. I mean, I can't imagine how far they have to go down in vibration to even try to communicate with us. Maybe it comes easy to them, but I would think it'd be like, geez, man, like a calculus professor trying to talk arithmetic.
I feel like we are a product of their decisions, and I think a certain portion of us, we are like a repository of potentials of organic potentials that are held in our DNA. All the recumbent DNA and all the strands that we think is useless knowledge is I feel like a library of potentials for organic evolution.
Yeah.
And how it can ebb and flow with the stresses of particular planet environments. Like we are able to switch by the pressures of the atmosphere we are put under. You know what I mean? By our DNA. So we're self-esteem for that reason.
Yeah, exactly. We're created to survive in the environment that we're in. And, of course, the goal was to create a perfect human race. And, the reptilians got in there and screwed around a little bit. And then they wanted to use AI to mess with us, which AI is a great thing when it's in the hands of people like the Pleiadians that, and good people. You take AI with good people, we'll move the planet ahead a century in a decade. Consciousness with technology, it's all Pleiadian. But if you one without the other, ain't gonna get you shit. Consciousness, no technology, okay, good. You can meditate on a flower for the rest of your life. If you don't have the consciousness, the technology, you'll burn yourself out like the Greys did and trick yourself out. Plus, I've seen technology from the Pleiadians, but stolen in the hands of not very good people. The technology is dirty. It's not clean. It's not as accurate, and it's not as good when you have people that are kind of trying to control it with less consciousness. Man, does that make sense, bro?
Yeah, it does. I understand entirely. Yeah, you can't if you can't perceive the trigger from the on-off switch, you shouldn't be touching it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I agree 100% on that.
Yeah, for instance, I know of a contacted guy. He got a hold of he got a hold of some, or this guy he knew he was writing a book about, got a hold of some technology from the military. He was on the run. This shit was a cloaking device supposedly stolen from galactic forces, and probably the Pleiadians. And when it's used through consciousness and for the right reasons, it's a good thing, but our military got a hold of it and was trying to use it for all kinds of shit to cloak things to spy on people, and it doesn't work all the way. It has a weird reflection off of it. It has after effects. When they see what they try to do, David, is they try to reverse engineer all this shit, right? And when they do, they don't have the consciousness of the people that designed it. So they're fucking around with it and assuming they're using their human earth mind to assume shit about it when they're reversing it, and it comes up all fucking a clusterfuck with it.
Yeah, I feel from like a rudimentary place, like still metaphysical, but from a rudimentary steak and potatoes sort of area. A lot of the parts of the ship are held in sub-dimensions where different materials are stable, where they would not be stable up here. When plutonium is unstable here, when you drop down to the memory where it belongs, it becomes a completely different periodic table. If they're accessing that, they're putting their propulsion systems below this membrane and gathering stable materials that cannot exist in this membrane. So that's what we're missing a big chunk of the whole puzzle. You know what I mean?
Well, I know, and that goes along with what I've always said. When you look at these things, or some of these beings even, how they cloak it, look like they're cloaking and flowing and morphing in and out. It's because they're existing in multiple dimensions at once. And you're seeing that. When you see that shit, it's because they're coming in and out of, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, density. And then down into ours, of course, into 3D, but then they're keeping their multidimensionalness about them. They're keeping their blood pressure high, but still staying cool, if you get what I'm saying. And so you see that shit, right? Like what you're saying. Or they'll put shit in another dimension to kind of keep it out of the way of, other forces that may try to grab it. There's all kinds of reasons, but what you're saying is absolutely true, man.
It's stable. Like what the materials they use to propel their ships to bend space. It's stable in lower points of reality, and that's what I understand. Why do I understand it? I don't know, but they hold like the mechanism of their ships. That's why they look so clean. You know what I'm saying? Like, where's all the parts and pieces at? Where's all the conduit?
It's exactly it. That's how they're able to do it. See, there's a reason behind everything. I'll just go off on this for a second. You talk about magic and all that shit. There's only a couple things magic is, if you ever see true magic. It's either one, you're looking at a technical device you've never seen and you don't understand that's doing that, or you're dealing with a society, a consciousness level civilization that is a mastermind at levitation, tiny bit of mind control when they need to, levitation, telekinesis, telepathy, and so they can do this shit. They're that advanced, right? So I guess that could be, you could say that's magic, but that's what magic is. Everything has an explanation for it, just like what you're talking about, right? These things have a little bit of a physicalness to it down in the lower dimensions, but it's just that it's a lighter kind of a perception as you get up to the higher dimensions. I wish I could articulate shit better like some of these younger starseeds can, but, I get what you're saying, my Blu-ray brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting though. It's exciting. It's gonna be terrifying for people.
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, right, if this would have happened 10 years ago, they've had all these different points in time they've had in mind. They had it in 77 to do it. They had it in, all different times in the 2000s. But people, they don't want to freak that many people out. But yet, they understand there is no time. But I mean, in our concept, it's about, we've done all we can about his starseeds down here, and now we just got to kind of hold the light with people. So I think the thing is people are going to be freaked out, but are some people still going to be in denial even if they come to their house and visit? There's like two different realities that are going on here. It's weird.
Do you assume it's going to be all positive?
What's that?
Do you assume it's going to be all positive?
Are you asking me if I think the aliens are going to be all positive?
Because that's a human concept, right?
The what?
That's a human emotion.
Mostly. I mean, of course there has been throughout history, the reptilians and shit, the Orion Wars with them. Of course there's manipulation like that, and that is the problem with humanity, is we've had that little bit of gene of that they put that manipulation in there when they were allowed to help share with our DNA pool. But yes, it is a human emotion for the most part. Of course, the caution, having, cosmic warrior caution is always good. There's always, I'm going to be really intent on looking at how our world leaders act towards this and how their interaction is. That'll tell me a lot. And I mean, yeah, this isn't, people say this is a false flag. Those options are there. Right now, the government does have ships in the sky that are trying to deceive people a little bit. They're trying to throw it off a little. I don't know what in the fuck they're doing, except for, there are a lot of people that are going to be arrested and that are going to be put on another planet or put somewhere else. I really do believe that, because there are some dark forces that have controlled this earth, and they're getting exposed, and they're trying every last thing they can, but they're ducking and diving, weaving and steaming and beeping and bopping, and they got about nowhere to go, dude. They've ran out of fucking steam.
I tell you what, Larry, another observation I have is, if you watch you can watch the ones that are above our skies right now. If you look at them, they're calling them drones, which is ridiculous, because drones, they have a very angled movement, source of movement. These things moved like moths in a light. They moved like they were organic. Like they moved like they were coming together to reproduce or something. And they look like, to me, like almost it could be like a space-based organism that needs to come in to our planet to reproduce. Like a salmon has to go back up to its native stream to lay, to reproduce. Like they moved not like machines being controlled, but they moved like organisms unto themselves. If you watch how they move.
Oh, yeah, you're preaching to the choir. I've been watching them for 14 years. I know exactly, man. It's like that too. It's they can morph apart into 2 different parts, 5 different parts, come back together. It's science that we don't understand. It's complete quantum physics. Yeah,
I've seen it. So I went back in 1994. I'm driving back to I lived in North Bend. I was with my wife, my future brother-in-law, and my young nephew, and we as I'm driving back, it's late at night. The kids are freaking out in the back seat, and we're at a point where we can see over, where the Sunset Pub used to be, over that part of the bay towards the ocean that way, where we're positioned, and up in the sky, there's a flaming, and mind you, it's like 11 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? There's a flaming fireball. That is stationary, which is obviously over the ocean, over the North Bay, clear off into the ocean. And it's sitting there like it's a second sun that not as bright, but it's it's like 11 o'clock at night. And as we're observing this thing, like 5 to 10 balls of light come out of it, like spiral out of this burning triangle of light, which is obviously appears to be massive. And these things start doing a orbit around this flaming triangle, and they're doing an orbit like you'd imagine protons and neutrons that go around an atom. They're going circular, and then without warning, as we're watching this, one at a time, they shoot faster than your eyes can watch them go down the coastline towards California, one after another. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, no shit, man. I've seen the military up there, not recently, but like in 2014 and 15, I was seeing them up there constantly. And they tried playing it off on the news here like they were Air Force was just doing RFOs. And I had guys that worked for me that were in the Air Force. And I'm like, I know you guys do RFOs every year. Are you telling me you do them for months on end? And they're like, no, we just go do them for a couple of weeks. I'm like, well, then what the fuck's going on, man? Up there.
Ocean.
Yeah, they do. Right. But these things are, the government doesn't have things like this. And if they do, then we're really in trouble because they're thousands of years ahead of us technological wise, and we should have free energy.
They're from I always surmise that they're from a prior universe.
Yeah, some of them, sure, prior universe, prior planets, different timelines, you name it, it's there.
One more observation that I have, like, it's personal, it's my thoughts, I don't know where they come from, but I believe they occupy calderas of extinct volcanoes. I think that's another place where they go. I guess your Mount Shastas, that's why they're over by Eugene.
Yeah.
And huge lava caverns, you know what I'm saying? And they can control the atmosphere in these caldera, because they have different requirements as far as atmospheres go. So they can control the pressure, and they can control the gas mixtures. That's why I think they are like Mount Shasta. That's why I think They're out above Eugene. They are going into these calderas. That's where their bases are underground. They control the environment. They pump their own particular gas for mixtures so they are comfortable. It's like that's what I think. That's what I feel, anyways.
No, wow, okay. I know they did. I know they used the volcanoes. I've never heard it broke down that way. That's beautiful. I think I'm gonna go back and quote you on that when I write something. So that's how they're able to. Okay, so that's how they make their homes inside of there. I kind of thought about it, but then I thought, they've got technology. I'm sure they figured it out somehow. But I know, Shasta. We know about Shasta. They go without saying. But you go up that corridor from Northern California, Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, starting in Northern California. That is Pleiadian country. The Mount Adams and Hood and Bachelor, up on the Yosemite Range. Yeah.
And Larry, check this out. The McKenzie River, the Metolius River, several rivers just erupt out of the ground. They don't even know where they come from.
Oh, really? Well, wow. Really? Where'd you hear this?
I didn't hear it. I fished it and hiked it. I know from my own myself. McKenzie River comes out of they're in the ground up there. McKenzie River comes out of a place called Clear Lake. It disappears into the ground. It reappears several miles down. They call it Proxy Falls. Then it reappears several miles down the mountain. And they've put dye in the water. And it never comes back out the other side where they can say, okay, the McKenzie River must filter through this humongous. Check this out. For miles upon miles, there's nothing but hyperplastic flow of lava beds. So it's like spine of rock for miles in this area. Underneath that spine of rock and them lava tubes, nobody has no clue what's going on in there, dude.
Yeah, well, that was what I was thinking the whole time you were saying that. It's like, dude, have you ever talked to anybody else about this? I mean, does anybody ever notice this? This shit sounds like they're hiding things in plain sight to me.
That's what they do. When we consider a natural phenomenon, we just that's what we're assuming. We're really interested in our own shortcomings. You know what I mean? Who wants to admit that?
Well, we are though. We really are. We're the Earth. I'm not going to put me in there. These Earth humans are crazy son of a bitches, dude. I love them, but man, it's just so weird and quirky. And yeah, we do. We're in love with our own shortcomings, man.
Yeah, I think we survived though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it sure passes the illusionary 3D time away. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird. People are just different. They're paranoid. They're it's one thing to have discernment because I do too, but they're always missing the bigger picture they're accusing the man in front of them when it's the man behind the curtain, and they're accusing the man behind the curtain when it's the man in front of them doing shit.
Yeah, the best part of that, Larry, is when we get the privilege of transcendence. Even if we're not enlightened, we all get to transcend. Okay, eventually it comes and gets every one of us. So even if you don't get the game while people are walking right here and now, eventually when we pass on, which is a gift from the universe, we transcend by we automatically transcend somewhere. So everybody can do it.
Yeah, everybody's going to get there, and there might be a point, too, where it's separated from people that don't get it and do get it, but everybody eventually will get it, and then at that time when we're all together, it'll be kind of a joke. It's like, okay, well, I'm glad I was asleep during it, or, yeah, goddamn, I wish I could have traded places with you. I had to sit there and endure you fuckers acting that way, and it'll be a good, fun joke to have with family after it's all settled and once and done for our planet. We're helping we're going to get it back, though. There's new galaxies forming, and I'm told that the human race on Earth will one day be trying to mentor another human type Earth race while they're going through their squabbles. So you're the master, you're the student, you're the teacher, you're the everything. Yeah, it all comes back to you.
I think you can put it any better than that, Larry. That's a good right there. That sums it all up. But I just pray that we're calm about what we are seeing in the skies. I hope we're not Iran was firing weapons at it, which I think that's terrible.
Are you kidding me? What the Iranians were out there shooting at it?
You can't. They're on a heightened sense of panic because everybody wants to choke. I'm not saying they've not made it hard on themselves, but you understand why they're probably little trigger shots.
It has nothing to do whether I agree with their policies or not. Well, of course they're going to be on heightened alert. Jesus Christ, you got Israel breathing down your goddamn neck and United States been checking them all the time.
Vice versa, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, I'm not on their side. I'm just saying, dude, they're not stupid. Of course they're good.
I'm on their life, bro. You know what I mean?
Me too. Me too. What I'm saying is that I'm not trying to preach for their causes. I'm just saying, of course, they're going to be paranoid.
But they're going to start an interstellar war, which we would be wiped out. You know what I'm saying? I wish they'd think of more subtlety about. I wish we as human beings. There's something to talk about Iran. We as human beings. I hope we have refrained.
Yeah. The thing is, I hope so too. And the thing about it is, too, man, is you're right about wiping us out. They could in the blink of an eye. Their consciousness is way above that. Of course, of course they have elite militaries, but you know what? They build that shit up so they'll never need to use it. So they'll never have to use it. It's just there in case they ever had to be ready. But their consciousness is not on. In fact, they're a little scared of us actually because they think we're barbarians here. I mean, they don't understand the way we squabble and things like that over anything and everything, but not a goddamn thing at all. And it's true. There are people addicted to drama here. There are these so-called freedom fighters that they really don't want anything to change. They do, but what are they going to do the day after? They get it to crumble. What are they going to do the next day when they don't know how to run a society, how to keep shit in order? And they're bored because now they don't have anybody to fight. There's people like that. It takes all kinds, I guess.
Yep. Hey, Larry, I'm going to call it a night here. I have something to attend to, man. I really appreciate you having me on your show, man.
You too, man. Hey, I love you, brother. Yeah, too. I got a channel.
Let's touch bases tomorrow and let's talk again, dude.
Yeah, let's hit that subject about what we talked about in that show 8 years ago when we predicted and prophesized the political landscape and how it was going to go, including everybody. I'm not going to get into that now, but me and this man called it right down the middle, exactly how it happened now. Yeah. It's out there in the video. You want to find it, go for it. I'm not going to mention it. All right, bro. Hey, peace out and much love, everybody out there. And let's give everybody, though, a big cosmic dating game kiss. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. They're like, what the fuck is a dating game? Never mind.